Hello and welcome to today's collective video. My name is Leah. I am your collective energy reader. I'm gonna read you like a book. So we're gonna open you up. And I do this with asking for consent, trust that we're gonna be opening up in ways of vulnerability. It's gonna be things where you might be embarrassed if other people would hear it, maybe. But this is where you will also be able to see how amazing you really are in ways you don't see it, where maybe someone else would be able to let you know, like a friend, someone who you trust in a way. I'm not like a therapist, okay? So I'm not in that way of experience, all right? I'm more of a friend where I see you in a way. Similarly, I read cards and we get down and dirty, all right? We wrestle in the mud or whatever, but we're not wrestling each other. We're wrestling our own shadows and learning that we don't need to wrestle. We can just relax with our shadows in the mud and just be like two silly little pigs rolling around in the mud. And life is nothing more than what it is you make of it. In the mess, there's something beautiful that you can make of this, all right? Because I love reading about how to relook in ways of you are not the mess itself. You're just part of it, and you can get out of it and clean yourself up in the way you see yourself, get your self-esteem better, thus allowing you to gain in confidence when you act, because you're able to feel like how you think and the way you see yourself is a lot more focused, directed for you. It's something about how it helps you see there's certain goals that you like to kind of think about in different ways where the life messes are the areas where the manifestations are, where the successes are waiting. It's the thing where fear is what makes you perceive it as mess, and love is underneath in terms of the fear. And a lot of the mess, there's meaning to it where we individually get our way of seeing it as a certain way, where if we step away, we get the bigger kind of perspective, because it's like the eagle kind of perspective of it's a higher vantage point. So it can see a lot more in terms of a wider distance, where it's, how would I put it? It's just like from a higher perspective, if you will. So you yourself are looking at yourself. The further you can distance yourself from whatever the location is, the sources of mess for you, it's something about how it's not in the physical that you separate, but in the whole focus point, where instead of focusing on whatever someone else is perceiving the situation, it's about you perceiving the situation and remembering that it's always about you when it comes to you, all right? Like, you're like, think about it. Me too, though. I totally think about it in way of, man, because it's something about how it's you're seen in an uncomfortable light, all right? And it's based off of the ultimate thing of how you handled in terms of being influenced by your emotions at the time. And there's something about owning up is something to liberate for yourself when it comes to it. Owning up to what has been really kind of, if you will, built with the uncomfortability. The Hanged Man is the card of somehow you got in an uncomfortable situation, right? Like, it's a situation where it's like you like try talking and everything, and you know you're like, oh my gosh, this is a mess I'm in. But it's something about how there's something about it where it's like owning up to what it is that you contributed to when it comes to your perspective. And I get it, because there's something about it for me too. Recently I went to like a physical place, and after coming out of it, I like left because it was just like uncomfortable for me right now. And it's like a personal thing. So it's something where I need to leave physically to be able to sort my uncomfortability out in order to come back in a comfortable place. And there's something about how, again, it's not about the place itself, the people itself. It's about you yourself handling the uncomfortability and not letting it control you in a way where you ultimately dictate people physically being uncomfortable, and more so it's your belief. Okay, here's the thing, it's your belief in the way that you see you have to stay long enough to be uncomfortable in situations where you don't have to be, where you can separate and allow yourself to have the faith that what it is in terms is you're putting love before fear. You're choosing to move away because what the love is sorting out the uncomfortability from a place in terms of safe distance. Okay, so like imagine you want to take a beautiful photo of a bear. You know what I mean? And so the beautiful photo is really going to be beautiful, right, from safe distance. But the in terms of it, you could get really close to a bear. They're very unpredictable though. And you don't want to run from a bear, okay? Like, I worked in Yellowstone National Park for a couple summers, and that's like one thing they told us employees, because they would have employee orientations, but they would like tell the employees at the beginning, like in the park, like safety stuff, you know what I mean? So it's something about it where looking back in these environments, because it's something where you yourself feel like you're a mess because of these environments, because of, yeah, it's something about it where it's like also getting in, it's something about like one group in your life, like a friend group, family, coworker, some kind of group of stability in way that you see yourself made you not comfortable in the way that you see yourself. And then it led to other groups, other people in your life where you feel like that. And it's something about how it's this thing of where you tie your stability of identity to, and realizing that something to do with self-esteem in this, where you like tie your identity a lot to how you feel. I totally get it too. I'm so feeling perception based that I don't even realize it, and I'm like, wait a minute. And it's this thing in these groups, remembering that when it comes to feelings, it's not as important as the logic and reasoning. So like work. I know, I'm sorry, okay, forgive me. If you ever know me personally, I'm sorry for causing drama in work, okay? I'm growing into a woman, okay? And that's kind of the thing also with other people, is they might still be growing when they are a lot older than you, but in the whole emotional way of handling their emotions, the immaturity comes through strong, thus signifying immaturity doesn't always have to be with people who are like younger. It can be people who are older. It's the whole experience in terms of someone learning how to handle one's emotions, where it shines through on like emotional maturity. Thus, okay, here's the thing. My thing that I'm like kind of like interesting about is there's something about how it's coming through, you didn't mean to, but it just kind of still happened, where it's this whole and it's happened before where like you didn't realize that was happening, where it's like the workplace kind of boyfriend, girlfriend, workplace husband, girlfriend. Okay, it's this like crisscrossing of like playing house in workplaces. I don't know if anyone's ever been in these connections in workplaces, but it is kind of like that. And it's interesting in terms of how I'm getting the visual, like a literal, like, yeah, how would I put it? Yeah, basically crisscrossing in ways of, it was supposed to go like straight across, but it kind of went this way and that way with like connections, and how they kind of turned in more of a personal connection and you didn't mean to. So there's something about how it's kind of coming through in way of it, in way what is the ultimate kind of, that's the bottom of the deck. So this would be kind of like, how would I put it? Let's see. We would be looking at it like this. So this kind of would be like that energy that's like the ultimate intention of love I'm getting. Because it's kind of like there's fear, and then underneath it, there's the reason of why it is that you love. Okay? So there's something about the King of Pentacles. We have the Ten of Swords, the Strength, the Chariot, the Six of Pentacles. Something to do with the amount of time and energy, blood, sweat, and tears you put into. Yeah, okay, I'll just show you it. Into some kind of manifestation, into some kind of dream goal, where it is celebratory. I'm getting kind of more individual though, for you to really just resonate in kind of your, if you know your sun sign in astrology, your sun sign, but the whole thing of like what it is that you do in terms of action that other people would be seeing it and they're like, wow, your personality is coming through. Like, whoa, you are enjoying it. Something about that, where it's like something you do on the physical in terms of it, other people are like, wow, you're really enjoying life. And it's something where it's also going to allow you to see yourself anew, see yourself in a new, on a new path, I guess, because it's like this physical thing that you're going to be doing that also shows you in terms of it something about gratitude and appreciation. It's something where it's also like, maybe it's like the path of appreciation and gratitude of how you can make something sour into sweet, where it's like turning lemons into lemonade based off of your own way of handling this need and desire for security I'm getting. And it's like this sense of security is really the sense that you'll always be able to get back to feeling happy, enjoying life. You're able to really appreciate life no matter how it is that you feel in the moment. It's like you care about your feelings and you're like, okay, I'm feeling lonely right now. I'm going to listen to myself. What are things that I can do to help me feel less lonely? And there's something about you choosing to do those on the physical is going to really allow you to see that in way of how you care for yourself. In terms of when you don't really understand what to do, it's something where you previously have done it. It's where you feel like it might be silly or it might just not be that serious, but in retrospect, it is. It also made me just think of, when I just said retrospect, I thought of like the whole retrograde. So I don't know if there's any retrogrades coming up or in your birth chart. There might be also something in relation to retrograde in with your sun sign. Also, I don't know if there's something like that, or like, yeah, something of that sort. But yeah, there's something about it with how you can visualize and way of optimizing what it is. Optimizing. How you can take advantage with what you have in front of you and also with the intention of engineering enjoyment in the end. All right, that should be like on a t-shirt or something, a poster. We have, I'm getting like also, how would Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, how would he handle the situation that you're in? How would he, what would he say to you? Okay, of like, it's okay, it's like no big deal, because that's kind of what I'm getting when you get to this point in life where you're like, I really don't know how to move forward and way of enjoying life, right? I get it. Me too. Where you're just like, the next day comes and it's the same as the next and the next. You have to be different. It's scary though, because different is like, could hurt you, right? You're like, oh my gosh. And it's like, what is going to be the worst thing that could happen? And I know like the worst thing would be death, right? And the whole thing though is death is going to come no matter what. And I'm not saying it's like it's going to come now or anything. No, we're supposed to be living right now. We though, when we look at this way, this is like we fear death. And this is something where we forget to live because we are focused in way of living is ultimately death, destruction. What about creation? Okay, what about you existing in the first place? Like, think about in the way of how many things in the past that you have built from the ground up with your own hands. What made you start in the first place? What made you get to a point where you found your own place in the first place? You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like, for me, I think back on my own wellness journey. I'm 28 now, and I would say maybe 18. I think I decided to just get my own SHIT together, and I like started doing at-home workout videos and eating healthy, and I didn't really realize a lot of what the Eastern wellness, traditional, like really ancient wellness, traditional medicine and tips and tricks and everything in terms of not just with spirituality, but like the whole, I don't know, physical Western, Eastern kind of medicines and everything. Because I'm really into wellness for myself in the personal way, where I'm born with a lot of challenges of mental wellness that not people don't see, but in terms of it, some people maybe could feel, you know what I mean? Because there is a lot of pain when it comes to mental wellness that I've went through, and it's really made me debate on, you know, still being here or not, and I've chosen to stay. I'm choosing to stay, and to not think of it as suffering, but think of it as, how can I find strength in what before I thought was suffering, right? You know, how can I find strength? Because this is like an individual journey, y'all. Where like, I don't know if it's some kind of inner liberation for you, but for me, what helps me liberate my own kind of like depression and everything, to be quite honest, is I've gone on a spiritual journey, spiritual walkabout, where I feel like I matter in the world. And that's the most important thing for anyone to feel. And for me personally, it takes a lot of things for me to kind of do, for me to feel like I do, where it's something about how I see it now with this even video, where it's like, the moment that I decide that I am, see, it's so hard for me to say, because it's like still hard for me to think about it, but like, yeah, I do matter. Like, the moment that I decide that I matter is when I matter. That's when I believe I matter. That's when I believe in myself that I matter. And there's something about for yourself where it liberates you as well when you say this to yourself. Yes, I do believe that in myself I do matter. That there is so much importance in myself. Everything I've done Up until this moment and further on, it has mattered and it always will matter because I matter. I'm born for a reason the way I am, baby. Yes. Like that, you know what I mean? Because, like, struggles, I get it. Like, oof, me too. It becomes struggles to a point of, not so great stuff that makes me feel like I don't matter enough, where me not existing is like, it makes sense, which no, it doesn't make sense, okay? Me existing makes sense. Me not existing, it doesn't make sense because I exist right now. You know what I mean? You exist right now. Everyone exists. We all exist. Everything that has exists before in terms of how you felt, someone else has. Someone else has done what you once feared too. And they succeeded. Optimistically and pessimistically too. You know what I mean? So something about that where it's like, what can you do in terms of it, where how can you find inspiration to allow yourself to lead and liberate from inside out? Oh my gosh, it's like that movie Inside Out with the feelings, you know what I mean? Where it's like you're just really getting to figure yourself out again in way of like your teen 2.0. Yeah, you got some inner teen dialogue. I get it, me too. I'm starting to learn mine. Hello. Oh my gosh, now that I think about this, yeah. Like, and it might not be your teen, but it's like something about your younger version of self that just was not able to like live because you were constantly having doubts go through your mind of, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? It's something about how it's like you are doing it right every step of the way. However you choose to do it, this is where it's like really hard for you to see, like, did I really choose? Did I really do it right? And it's something about, yes, you listening to yourself in way of walking away, no matter what, is what's right. Okay? Oof, right? Like, you're like, oh my God, did I make a fool of myself walking away? Because I'm getting it's like something about a test where outside wanted to see what was your worth. And your worth was like enough to get someone riled up to be the king of wands. Like, stop it. Like, stop it. They need a fan because they're so hot. They're like dripping sweat. People around them, like their friends and everything, they're like, are you okay? Because like when you come near, they literally stop and they're like, change. They're like, instead, they're like, oh, King of Swords, y'all. So like, you walking away, something about it in a situation or situations, it's like you got someone or like people who normally are like tough on the exterior. It's something about you walking away or realizing that you really just don't give an F about being frustrated and you're not flustered anymore, has made them fantasize about you in a way where it's like even more so tough exterior, okay, where they're like stoic, because there's something about how all of this in way is, how would I put it, not for you to handle right now, where it's like in your life what you're supposed to be kind of experiencing is not this. And it's something about how people choose how they want to in way of this, where it's like even though you choose love over fear, they themselves would choose fear over love. And it's fine, because it's like, this is the whole thing of life, is it's an individual life, okay? It's not a group thing, okay? Group doesn't mean one voice, all right? That's dogmatic. That's not what life is. Group means individual voices that resonate in way of what's the effing point, all right? I'm sorry, but like, this is what you're walking away from, all right? If you see that you're in this situation, And you're like, what does this mean, Leah? Okay, so this is a chaos kind of card. Chaos. I feel like it's Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, that was my... Okay, let me just tell you, like, I'm just telling you my dating app or whatever, my dating profile, because, like, I am single and I'm looking for someone. No, just kidding. But it's something about, okay, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Like, I love the dueling. I love the whole thing. And it's something about it where this reminds me of the ego battles that you would be dealing with when it comes to Imagine at School, where it's like you guys all have to be there, right? And you all have to deal with personalities, and it's something about... Yeah, it's something about it where it's like people are going to see you walking away. What is left of this, okay? Interesting. It's not going to be something where... how would I put this? Because I brought up also that, like, in a group, it's multiple voices. And, like... Wait. Oh my gosh, y'all. Usually I have, like, wet pits, but not today. It's a little... I get really warm. I don't know why. I have my theories. Can't tell. Okay. Sometimes during the videos I have some guest appearances. So I've to stop a little bit, but I also don't like to stop the video. So real life likes to get that, you know what I mean? That's kind of it, if you will, where you thought that you were the chaos. Okay, you were more so, if you will. Interestingly enough, okay, as you gain and get more into your own in different environments where they would typically be supporting you with love and appreciation, where it's like you are getting more into your own, there's different environments where it's going to change, because before you were kind of part of the group, now you're choosing to be more of yourself. And so this is where it's about voicing yourself, but realizing that if you receive feedback in way of kind of retaliation, I'm getting like this kind of retaliation where it's a bunch of egos coming out, it's something about paying attention to it. Because there's something about it where it tells you in the way of other people, where it's wanting to get out of different situations without wanting to make it more chaotic for other people, if you will. Make it more uncomfortable. The Seven of Wands. Yeah, because like the 5, so see the 5 and the 7, and this is like your focus, really, where it's like really hard to see what you need to focus on when so many other people are telling you what they think you should be focusing on. That's kind of what it is. Is like with the 3 of Pentacles, it's like what they need to be focused, or that's what I mean. It's like what they're like, I don't know how it is. And I totally get it if this is how you relate, okay? But do other people think that you're so easygoing, that like, and so flexible and everything, that they would like assume that you would be okay doing certain things or having certain things done in like your connections? And it's something about how that hi Leah. It's okay. Hi, buddy. It's something about that where you realize that like other people have issues that they hide and lie about in ways where they want to really put kind of themselves out there. And it's like also realizing that there's no point in hiding, y'all, when it comes to the truth of like how things are. Okay? Like if connections work, they can work. If they don't, they don't. It doesn't mean it doesn't work for no reason. There's a reason for the connection, but it's something about how that separation is allowing you to understand what makes your heart grow fonder, what is worth it for you, what is worth all the effort to get through the struggle of what is coming through. Because when you walk away, you get to a point of understanding why you haven't moved forward in certain ways in love, why you haven't put yourself out there in certain ways because of love. I think Lay needs me too. There's something about it of like just, yeah, how can you get to the point where you collaborate with other people in a way of, because I'm getting like you want outside feedback, right? With like someone who, how would I put it? It's not like you would date them. It's like they would be the same gender as you. I'm getting like, so for me, I would be wanting to talk to someone like in their late 20s or early 30s and like they would be female and they would be like dating a guy kind of person to like relate to, in essence of, or maybe not that specific, but it's something where it's like you're able to relate to them in way of love, but it's something about remembering when it is that you kind of are reaching out and relating to love. Who is it that you're reaching out to? In what way and what tone do they have when it comes to love? But he regrets leaving me. Someone just left me. It's okay. He'll be back. Oh my gosh, it made me think of Terminator or Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. I'm just a jealous guy. Ooh, you know what I mean? That's what I mean. Jealousy is something I shouldn't laugh because it's a dangerous game that can be planned. Where that can get to a point where they forget, people forget, I forget what the heck I'll be saying later, where it's like I say stuff so much like I have no common sense, like I am an idiot, and that's because I am. In the moments when it is that jealousy is, it's because you let your desire, your lust go so long. It's because the truth of you wanting to be like open like the lovers are, you see how open they are, yo mean. Okay, also, I just gotta say, so on the left, okay, it's like more of a masculine presenting energy person. On the right is more of a feminine presenting person. The left is like a tree burning. On the right is a tree with fruit. I really have an interesting theory. Now, it might also be somewhat true. I don't know. That's what I mean is, I don't know. This is for my own thing where I'm like, with masculine energy, with your own too. We all have masculine and feminine energies and ways of how we work with others. With it, there's the receiving, which would be the feminine, and then the giving, which would be masculine. There's something about destruction is the masculine, creation is the feminine. What are you destroying? What are you creating? When you act, that's the middle, okay? The act is in the middle, all right? And that's what it is in terms of you're acting in your truth. but it's something about you might not see in terms of it the full matter, because it's something about if you do, yeah, I get it too. If you present yourself in a certain way, but really you feel a different way, it's needing to really just voice that, hey, you're either going to walk away, or you like something about needing to stand up and see if you can assert different boundaries for yourself, where, yeah, it's something where it's like understanding that you have to, how would it be? It's like you have to present yourself in a different way. Realizing that jealousy, if someone is jealous over you also, I'm just realizing this too, because it's something where it's like, if you specifically don't have any intention of jealousy yourself, it's something realizing that that's not yours at all, and to forgive, period, point blank. I just realized this too. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. Because it's something about how it's not even yours to hold on to, period. Even if someone's jealous over you, so the heck what? They can be jealous all they want. They can look, but don't touch. You know what I mean? Because when jealous people touch the things that they've been jealous over, who knows what in terms of how they be feeling in that moment. Because they be thinking like they're, how would I put it? You're theirs, but in reality, they haven't done any of the work to actually make it to a point of that. Because also they be thinking that like you're an object in that way, period. I'm getting like whatever it is that they do to you is totally fine, and that's not okay, period. No, everyone has standards for this. Like, this is why boundaries are great, to help you understand that it is not your issue in case people are jealous over you. They can do that all they want, but forgiving them of that in the way that they see you in relation to that is going to help in way of easing the frustration that jealousy does have. Where if you do realize that someone may be jealous about you, you're just forgiving them, because you're like, I understand, I get it. It's more of an immature way of holding on to lust, where it's like they can do something about it. And this is what I mean is like, with jealousy, it's just inspiration, and you just take it as you're never going to be able to be that person, to be with that person, or to be like that person enough to be that cool. Self-esteem, y'all. It's all good. It's just a self-esteem thing. So this is also in way of, what are you jealous of in relation to whoever it is that you think is jealous over you, right? Because there's self-esteem too there, where it's not that you're never going to be with someone who's like you're jealous because you're like, I really, really want to be with them, but there's something about the heart, the distance makes the heart grow fonder, okay? And that like is for a reason why it is that you got to work through jealousy yourself too. I get it. But something about right now cutting ties and turn with those individuals that you know might be a little bit jealous, and you might be a little bit jealous too. Like allowing yourself, I'm getting to slowly make those steps of distancing, because it's something about the connection within your heart's desire is not needed right now, or it's like a misconnection where distance will help you be able to see where it is that you're missing. Kind of like the eagle standpoint, where it's like from up above, you get a higher perspective of it, like what is the reason of the connection itself, and you might realize a lot of different things. But yeah, it's all good, period, point blank. You know, because if you do add into it, like if you fear in terms of someone being jealous of you, that's just going to add fuel to the fire of their jealousy and like rage it out. And that's just not something that is like needed, really. So that's kind of why it's like, if you do know it, if that's happened before, allowing yourself again to just, it's something about how it's not going to be first physical, it's going to be like a spiritual distance, where it's like you get to a point where you find a different faith other than the physical of what the future would be. okay? And you're like, ooh, that looks pretty nice. So you go over there and you're like, that's a great source of nourishment. So you suck up that, you know? That's kind of what I like to think of different faith-based religions. And I know it's just my own perspective right now when I talk about this, okay? It's not the whole channeling. But I like to think that in the moment, as a person, as just a spiritual being living in a human body, if you will, I like need certain outside kind of ancient text, if you will, right now to really nourish myself in this way, because jealousy is something that can integrate in your own identity to a point where you don't even realize it. And it's like kind of cancer that you didn't know was there until it came out, and it was there, and it just is really hard to kind of leave, if you will. And it's something about, it's just how you see yourself, and it's how to continuously honor and dedicate and put faith towards that in the future you'll see yourself and be able to handle jealousy within yourself in a way where it's not going to be like you're leaving yourself jealous. It's like you're able to forgive and then find outside inspiration in the moment to make you love yourself even more with your identity, where it's like you're missing something. You see it outside there, okay? And in your heart's desire, you're like, I'm missing something. That's all that is, okay? It's okay. No worries. So you're like, oh, no worries. It's all good. I get it. Me too. I'm like, oh yeah, no big deal. Oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. Okay, so it's something about it where it's like realizing that you yourself were jealous and everything, and it's something about the jealousy is not for the person to be hurt, where it's like, okay, you feel jealous over someone living life a certain way, and you're like, it's because you feel left out, all right? You feel left out of being included by someone who you like feel that kind of soul connection to. Something about, though, do you know within your own soul what it is in way of why you want to be included, how you want to be included, what you want to be included in, who you want to be included with, and like where you want to be included, that sort of thing. Kind of like, I know it's annoying and everything, but you got to create your own story structure for this stuff. Right now, you feel things for a reason. The feelings and everything, jealousy is there for a reason. It's for you to grow in way of inspiring you in the now, of like changing from pessimism of jealousy into like inspiration of optimism, of like they could be like a role model for you, you know? I get it though. Be looking good, you know what I mean, right? But it's something about it where it's like, you know, you can do this too. It's like that you want to do it. You want to live like this person. You might want to be with this person. Why am I attracting so many clients for my business endeavors? So this is about like going out there, living life, and finding along the way different opportunities that connect you living life. And this is like passions. Passions, I like to think, are actual things that you can do in way of like every single moment you feel like you're living life. You feel like you are in the moment, sort of thing. And there's ways to create money now from this, where like I try to urge other people to do content creation, to put yourself out there in ways of when you were younger, before all the stress and all the mess and all the jealousy and everything, you were like super inspired to do different things. Taking those small steps of integrating yourself into it will allow you to get yourself into believing that it's true once again. I'm getting that this jealousy is because you had a lot of years of like rejection, and it's for your protection, okay? For your protection. We have first house development of personality, environment, childhood, physical, body. You are maturing in essence from the mental, emotional, and physical immature to mature. And then this is also how it really is helping in terms of those three is by the spiritual connection, where you're putting your faith in your future into some kind of like inspiration that helps you feel revived in your soul. Basically, it helps you feel rejuvenated. You wake up every day and you're like, yes, I'm gonna go to this right now and it's gonna help me feel really good. People think like maybe the gym, right? Going to the gym in the morning, get yourself revved up, go kind of do like praying and everything in the morning, going to the ocean in the morning, going for a walk in the morning, some kind of individual way to honor yourself in a way of, it's another day, we got it, it's in for the bucks or whatever, I don't know, where it's like you're able to see that there is a point in what you're going to be doing, because that might be more than anything what you've wanted to kind of feel like there is a point in, is what's the point. There's something about how I get it too, where it's like you see other people seeming to actually have a point and you're like, and it's something about also where you get backlash too in ways of you prove a point and how other people don't understand the point. And there's something about in that way, distance, and that is going to be able to prove your point even better. Well, I will figure this one out, right? So when you distance, when you distance from another person in order to prove a point, that's because you be getting a reward, because you're like, oh, I need to leave for a minute for this person to understand while they figure this out, okay? While they figure it out, you're like, But then my baby went bad. So there's something about it how also in this, being in these different kind of, if you will, exchanges I'm getting in environments, it's where both are choosing to, where you both are. And so leaving and allowing yourself maybe to just take a break, vacay, a couple days, maybe a day, something like that will allow you, something like that will allow you to find yourself refocused in ways where you're like, oh, that is the point of this connection. Okay. There we go. You and I were perfectly aligned. It drives me insane. Okay. So like one thing also with jealousy is insanity. Where I'm not kidding you, other people have put their self into these connections where they themselves were jealous of you. And so it's something about how oh, it's so weird. Okay. They like molded your personality and they like put that mold on in terms of a social mask. And they're like, I am so you, because they're like, I resonate with you. I connect with you. How it is they connect with this way, right? But they connect at a way of you both were like hesitant in love in different ways, where the lesson is you have to cut away with this. The lesson is you have to cut away. We've gone and made such fools of ourselves, like both parties have, in ways where it's just like, this kind of is just the catch-22 of staying in connections where the structure has changed in turn, where it's not just maybe business and logic and reason. There's like emotion in it. There's like feelings in it. Or maybe it's a feeling-based connection that really more so is turning into a logic and kind of business-like connection. And it's something about realizing with connections, there are reasons why you have them in the first place. Like when it comes to dating and everything, it's not just that in the moment you guys are in like romantic love. Love in the form of it can change because you get to know people in different ways where they're no longer like not afraid to show themselves. It's something about though that's something that comes out, where it's like the fear of showing oneself, even with someone that you love, even in like a romantic sense. Where I thought about it recently of dating apps and how I totally, I don't know, I'm not really on them personally. Like, this is like my own thinking of this, where it's kind of like social masks when it comes to dating, in a way where when you kind of meet a person in person, you realize maybe it's better like a certain way, but it's something about, it's like eventually down the way when it is, where it's like when I kind of meet people on social media, I don't know, it's not something where I totally know them in person. And it's something about it to remember too, in different ways of looking at people, where yeah, I'm getting, it's like you might start to catch feelings for people in romantic ways in more of an inappropriate way, where like same, and it's because of inner child need of affection and nourishment that you haven't figured out in way of giving to yourself, where it would be able to separate in way of like work and personal. Okay, I don't know how it is that it's coming out with this way, but it's all good, you know what I mean? Because it's not that like people who, like for instance, cheat, it's not that you mean to hurt your partner. It's that you need to have a need of nourishment in a different way that the person you're with isn't able to give. And it's something about remembering that you also have a say in way of relationships as well, in the party itself. Where if it is that you feel the need, you want to go somewhere else with someone else, it's okay. It's something about, though, that if you're signing up for a monogamous relationship, you got to get monogamous. And there's something about if you're signing up for a platonic relationship, you got to get platonic. It's something about this whole mindset shift and way of it too, where it might not just be like this whole thing of like what I'm saying in the physical of titleism, but it's something about how you yourself are realizing you're different in different ways, where it's okay to explore in different ways, where before you might not have. I didn't mean to hurt you. So it's something about it where it's, how would I put it? The pain that you feel in these different ways is only yours to feel, only yours to deal with. And it's okay when it comes to it, because you have to go through this in order for you to understand the mess. All right. I kind of have gotten into this point of just kind of leaning back when it gets to a point where like it's so stressful. It's like way too much in terms of stress with me in life, where I just kind of like take a TLC meditative break for the day, basically. And there's something about this whole thing is that, yeah, no one's happy in this situation of where you're at. No one's happy in it. I'm kind of getting that it's like love-based, okay? But it's something about how the love-based doesn't always have to be romantic. It can be platonic. It can be friend-based. It's something about, though, for you specifically, influences in love. Listening to yourself in love. And allowing yourself to truly see in terms of it, what do you need in the moment? Because the jealousy, if you do feel it within you, however it has created in terms of you acting in whatever way, it's okay. It just means that you need to give yourself a different way of love that maybe someone else on the physical will eventually, but you got to figure it out within yourself first. You are the map. The map is whatever it is that you figure out in turn of. I was dreaming of the past. kind of makes me think in way of it that whoever it is, in terms of the jealousy, whatever it is, it's something about they were just seeing the past version of you before you left or before you evolved into who you are in a mature way. Can't seem to get her out of my head, right? That kind of past version. Something about it where it's like, also in terms of it, you yourself, how do you see these people? How do you see people where it's like you're constantly dealing with them, but in ways where you yourself are mature, they themselves maybe are mature, maybe not. The maturity is, you can tell in way of people changing their behavior. It might be the same kind of, if you will, very similar interactions with maybe similar people or the same sources, but it's in a different way where you yourself handle it differently. You have more control over yourself. You are more calm. It's this whole thing of also you recognizing within yourself energy of you. I don't know, but I like to think that love is the ultimate energy you feel, and our feelings of like anger, happiness, joy, sadness, grief, guilty, shame, all that stuff is bits of us and our beliefs and the way that we love ourselves and the way that we see ourselves of mattering on earth and knowing that we do matter. All of us, can you believe it? Every one of us. You know what? We add so much to the plate because of love. You know what I mean? I love you. I don't know if you love me. It's okay. I love me enough. Like, I'll never not love me. Once I figured this out, I was like, okay, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, because, like, really, though, if people don't want to treat you with love, that's okay. But it's something about it where it's like, it's not just that. It's like the whole respect. It's the whole honoring. It's the whole understanding that as time goes by, yes, you got to be changing, too. You got to be changing your tune, too. Fingertips on the edge. Makes me think of someone rubbing it out. Jeez. Okay, I'll calm down. My bad. But, like, it makes me think of that, like, on the edge. All right? It also makes me think of the kitty poster where it's, like, on the claw, on the, what do you call it? The branch. It's, like, holding on or hold on there or something like that. Just holding on. Oh my gosh, it makes me, okay, that just made me think of the turtles in the, oh no, Dory in Finding Nemo when she's like, just keep floating, or no, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, 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 what do I do but swim, 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 do. I love Dory. Okay, I feel so much like that all the time, you know what I mean? I mean, not all the time, to be honest. That's one thing in my matureness that I've, like, it's hard for me to really, like, not be all jokester, but really, like, it's interesting when I'm, like, calm or whatever, but usually around people, and this is why I don't hang out with people a lot, personally, but I get so energized that I'm like a chipmunk, and I know I annoy people, so I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm going back up. Sorry about that. But really, it's like this, yeah, it's like the need and love and affection sort of thing. And knowing that, yeah, how would I put it? It's something about that. The more you understand for yourself, how you yourself can give love and affection, the ways where you're like jealous, you're also able to give that to others. But knowing it's everyone's responsibility in way of giving it to oneself. Like, give me a little love bite. And so I say things that maybe come true, maybe not. It'll be in turn of how it resonates with you, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, it is what it is. But yeah. All right. I'm gonna go. I'll see you later. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye, y'all.